What up, IDS Mom? It's your boy HarryWilmington here, and today I'm going to be answering a question from a young man who has a very actual simple question about how to find women that aren't single moms. But I really want to delve more into the idea of your mindset when dating and how the things you think about and your surroundings can fool you into believing that there's only a particular kind of women out there, when the reality is there are so many more that you may not be aware of simply because of the three things I'm going to talk about today. All right, so let's get into his question. The question is very simple. He says, I'm from STL, St. Louis, 18, male, and most women are single moms. How am I supposed to find somebody or someone? It really ain't no women in STL that don't have any kids. So I want this young man to understand that when you're thinking about dating and about women, a lot of how you think about women and what you believe is out there is based on the three things I'm going to talk about today. All right. But to start with, I do want to say this is that I'm 40 now and I've been dating since I was 15, and I've dated a lot of women. And of all the years that I've been dating and all the relationships that I've gotten into, I have only dated one single mom. They had like an 18-month-old. We dated for it wasn't even like really serious dating. It was just one of those, like, the situation presented itself. We went out a couple of times and then that was pretty much it. But I say this to say that the majority, like 98% of my dating experience has been to women that do not have children. So I want to assure you that they are out there. And again, that's from when I was dating from 15 to now. So in that wide range spectrum of my ages, even when I was 18, there were still women out there that didn't have kids that I was able to date. But why is it that you feel as though that you can only find women that have a kid? All right. And I'm going to talk about that. So the first thing is this. The first thing is your mindset. Up to this point, you've been made to believe that the only women around you are single moms. And that's, a fair assessment, because if you go online and look at like YouTube and stuff, you'll hear a lot of other people talk about, oh, these single moms this and these moms and that. And the reality is, yeah, there are women out there that are being irresponsible with their womb and allowing the guy to get up in them and then they have a kid, okay? But at 18, realistically, the majority of 18-year-old women out there aren't having children. Like, if nothing else, most women are waiting until they're like late 20s, early 30s before they start having kids these days, okay? So, and I looked up the population of STL to look up like the statistics of women, and like, I want to make sure I get this correct, because the majority of households in STL consist of like, here we go, let's see, 48%, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, there are 74.77% of households without children. And that's combining married couples and people that are solo by themselves, all right? So there's a huge part of the population that does not have children, all right? So that's to say that, again, it's your mindset that's making you believe that the only women you can get are going to be women with children, okay? But where does that come from? Well, that leads to the second thing, is your environment. I don't know what part of STL you're from. I don't know if you grew up in the urban area of town or the more bougie, well-to-do part of town. But the point is that your surroundings typically inform you about what is out there. But it's amazing the thoughts that you'll have about what's out there should you change environments, okay? Perfect example, when I went to school in my middle school and high school years, I went to predominantly white schools. And my last years of high school, I went to an Episcopalian school, actually. And so it's not that I couldn't date at that time, but like the majority of the women there were of the Caucasian persuasion. And for whatever reason, and granted, part of this is that I had my own mindset back then about I'm not attractive, but everybody back then told me I was weird and strange. So like, all that to say, I grew up in a place where I was made to believe I was weird, I was strange, I wasn't like other black people, and so it made it hard for me to date. And then I went to college, or I went to an HBCU, and I still had the mindset of like, women are going to think I'm weird, I'm strange, they're not going to want to get with me or whatever. Kind of found out years later, there were a ton of black women at this HBCU that had crushes on me, but because of my mindset and because of me believing, based on my previous environment, that I wasn't going to be a good pick for any woman that saw me because they're going to think I'm not black enough or yada, 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 that I basically C-blocked myself all the way through college. And I had to have a friend of mine tell me years later, oh yeah, women found you so attractive. And I had told all the women on campus I was a virgin and this and that, thinking they wouldn't want to get with me. Turns out, when you tell women that, they kind of want to take it away from you. And so I didn't get to capitalize on that as much as I thought I could have in hindsight because of my mindset and because in the previous environment that I was in, I was made to believe that my kind of black was going to be too strange for anybody to want to date. All right? So I don't know what environment you come from, but if all you're seeing in your environment is they're just single mother after single mother after single mother, then what that means is that your environment has made you believe that is all that there is out there. If you were to consider, taking the bus across town or going to another city, you will find there are plenty of single women that don't have kids. Heck, there are plenty of single women in STL. I looked up the stats. The stats for STL of people that are single without kids is 17%. If you cut that in half, it's like close to 8%, all right? But in the United States as a whole, for both men and women total, the population that's single with no kids is like 10%. So half that and half, that means 5% of all the women in the US are childless, okay? The stats in STL are actually better. And again, if you get yourself out of the environment that you're in, you're gonna find that there are other ways to meet women that don't have kids. Look at the hobbies that you have, try to get into some new hobbies, and then go to like clubs, go to networking things, go to things where you can meet other women that are outside of the environment that you're currently in, and you will see that those women do in fact exist, all right? And then the third thing that really affects the kind of women that you're able to get that are around is money. Like, real talk. If you're 18 years old, I'm guessing you probably don't have the greatest job in the world, you're probably not making a whole lot of money. The amount of money you have also affects not only the environment you're currently in, but the environment you're able to get into, all right? Perfect example, right? There's a lot of men that believe that the only women they can get are gonna be like big women that are out of shape, right? Because that's what we're made to believe. Oh, the population is such and this and that, and then, oh my God, most women eat too much and this, blah, blah, blah. And men do too, because I know women are gonna watch this and think I'm hating on women for being big. Men need to get themselves in shape also, all right? It's a serious epidemic that's causing health problems and causing deaths early, and it's not fair. But anyway, but that could be your environment, all right? I recently, again, I told people in the show, I have a photo booth business now, and I recently got to do a wedding in Beverly Hills of all places. I got to do it at the Four Seasons Hotel. And as I'm setting up, at this point, the wedding part's done. Now they're going to have the reception part. Everybody's coming to the room. And I'm looking at all the women in these gorgeous dresses coming into the room. I did not see a single, solitary, out-of-shape woman in that environment. Now, we could speculate. We could say, oh, it's because they can afford a trainer, or oh, they probably got liposuction, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter. The point is, in that environment where a lot of money was being spent, I didn't see a single solitary overweight woman. I saw a couple of portly dudes that were like, what I call rich fat, where it's like they're eating so good, they're just like, I don't care, I'm gonna spend this money and blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of big. But that was like maybe like two guys. So even the guys in that environment are mostly in shape dudes, all right? But the point is this, is that if you didn't have the money to be in that environment, you would just assume all women are overweight and that's all I have to choose from. And that's not the reality. But when you don't have the money to get into the right rooms or get around the right people, then you're going to not get the prime choice that you'd want to get, all right? So in terms of there just being single mothers out there for you to date, again, your mindset, you need to look around and see all the other guys around you that are able to date women that don't have kids. And if you're in an environment where every single guy that you know is dating a woman that has kids, then again, that goes to the second part, you need to consider changing your environment and seeing what other environments are out there that are going to allow you to realize that there are better outcomes than dating a single mom. Not that single moms are bad people, for those of you that are watching this, but realistically, they cause more headaches because there's more stuff to have to deal with when a person's coming into the situation with having kids already, okay? And then your money. Really, dude, you're 18. If you have no kids, great. This is the time to focus on your money. Focus on getting a good job. Focus on creating an opportunity for yourself that will allow you to actually build up your portfolio. Like, focus on yourself. These are the prime years where you can really just focus on yourself, be selfish, and get into a situation where you're able to have regular money coming in that's going to be good money, at least enough to take care of yourself, okay? At that point, you can then afford to get into rooms and other environments that are going to allow you to meet women that are going to probably be as well-to-do, or even if not, you'll be able to get around other types of women, including those that do not have kids, all right? So hopefully this helps you out. Again, change your mindset, change your environment, change your money situation, and I promise you, you'll be able to meet quality women that do not currently have children. It is definitely possible, but yeah, definitely change up your environment, dude, because that's going to be the death knell. And what happens if you stay in that environment long enough is that eventually you're going to acquiesce. You're going to either meet a woman that has kids, or you're going to slip up, not use a condom, and then have a kid of your own with some woman that you really don't want to get with long term. All right? Hopefully, this helps you out. For the rest of you guys, if you have a question you'd like me to answer, either leave a comment down below, or if you want to do a one-on-one coaching session with me, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab, and we can set up a phone consultation. All right? Also, go to the website to check out my eBooks, audiobooks, and other programs, all designed to help you date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Subscribe to the channel, check out the podcast. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.